What's good? What's good? What's good, fan? Well, I'm hearing all kind of music in the background. But here we go. We're gonna do this.
Am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name
Cameron.
is
Cam Buford.
Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford.
I'm a Dolphin fan. I don't know, fans. Can you guys hear this music, man? I need a thumbs up. I need you guys somebody in the chat. Can you guys hear the music in the background? I can hear it loud and clear, but I don't know if you guys can hear it. But thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. Again, not sure if you guys can hear the music. Hit me up in the chat if you guys can hear this music in the background. So I can figure out how to shut it off. Well, what's good, fans? Thank you guys for tuning in, man. It's been a wild week. We got obviously the NFL draft that we just finished up. We got the NBA playoffs running the full swing. What's been the thing that's caught your eye the most? Is it the playoffs? Is it the NFL draft? Is it hockey playoffs by chance? What has caught you guys' eye the most? If you guys being sports fans, following all types of sports, what has followed your eye the most? Because to me, it's been nothing other than you can't beat the. To me, you can't beat the NBA playoffs. This music is getting on my nerves. So I don't know if you guys can hear that. I might put it up in this chat. Can you guys hear that? Yeah, happy winter. What's good, Barry? Long time no hear from, man. How you doing, Barry? Hit me up. Barry, can you hear this music in the background? Let me know. I'm trying to figure out how to shut it off. It's kind of got me going. Figure out how to shut it off. I gotta shut this music off, bro. You don't know if the music is back. I like the beat. I like the beat, Thomas. But shut the damn thing off. Got a dope beat, man. Yeah, I might have to bust out a freestyle by the end of the show. Uh, but it's just loud in my ear. It's just loud in my ear. Okay, fans, what's good? What's good with you guys? Okay, I think I figured it out. What's good with you guys? Thank you guys for tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast. This is your man Cam. It is April 30th, 2025, week 338 of the Voice of the Fans podcast. Tonight we got a lot to talk about. The NBA playoffs. We got the NBA or the NFL draft we just happened. We got boxing coming up. We got some NHL discussions. We got some MLB discussions, and then we're gonna obviously get to our this weekend in history segment. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. Just to talk about the NBA playoffs real quick. Let's get it started with the Thunder blowing out the Grizzlies. We saw they blew up the Grizzlies by nearly 60 points in the opener playoffs, 131 to 80, so nearly 50 points. And then we just saw the other night the Cleveland Cavaliers close out a playoffs with the biggest closeout record. So we've seen some blowouts in the NBA playoffs. But yet still, I've thoroughly enjoyed the NBA playoffs. But those are two blowouts. Okay, so the Grizzlies. KC Thunder are just on a pace, man. They're just on a pace that is really ridiculous. Their pace is championship pace. If you guys haven't noticed, I don't see anybody who can really get with the OKC Thunder. Um, the Celtics, if you have to say somebody's going to be able to get with them, Cleveland Cavaliers, that's going to be a great matchup. But the OKC Thunder has the size that you want. They have the scoring that you want. They have the depth that you want from an NBA champion. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to go down. But OKC did what they had to do. Swept the Grizzlies. Now they gotta rest until they see the winner of the Nuggets versus Clippers. So the versus Clippers now, that's another masterful series. It's tied up at it's not tied up anymore. Excuse me. It's 3-2 Nuggets coming off of Aaron Gordon's Game 3 alley-oop game-winning dunk. Was that dunk on time? Was it at the scotia of the game clock? It was close. It was a close one, guys. It was a close one. It was I doubt they designed that play, but the only other game-winning play I seen better than that one was Rex Chapman. The Phoenix beat Seattle. That was in the mid-90s but that was the out-of-bounds play that was geared for Rex Chapman to catch it and throw up a three-pointer. If you guys haven't seen that play, go check it out. Phoenix Suns and Rex Chapman beat the Seattle Supersonics. I want to say they sent them home because back then it was the best out of 5 in the first round. So they sent them home in the first round of that series with the Rex Chapman three-pointer for a game-winning shot with very little, a second on the clock or 1.2 on the clock maybe. But he had enough time to catch and shoot. And that was the only more impressive game. I don't want to say game winner, but that was the only most impressive game winner in the playoffs that I've seen. I will say that. Kawhi was pretty crazy how it bounced on the rim and then went in. But the Rex Chapman. And what you saw yesterday was a game 3 result. So, or not yesterday, but Saturday, that was a game 3 result. So that was good for Aaron Gordon to kind of get that. Aaron Gordon plays a great role with the Denver Nuggets. He plays a great role, and this is more evidence of the great role that he played. Westbrook then had a throwback game in game 4 to push that series to 3-2 to give the Nuggets a 3-2 lead. Nobody was expecting that. Everybody was ready to bang on Russell, but he ends up doing that and gives the team an advantage. Do we trust Kawhi or James Harden to pull the series out for the Clippers? They got to win 2 games. They got one of them at home, and then they can go to Denver and win that game on the road with a new head coach and Ty Lue, and you got a championship head coach versus a coach that hadn't coached 2 weeks in the NBA before the playoffs started. Do we trust Kawhi Leonard and or James Harden to pull this series out for the Los Angeles Clippers? If they're going to do it, if Kawhi's going to earn his money, now's the time, big boy. If James Harden is going to earn his money, now's the time, big boy. You win or you go home. Obviously, that's elimination. They're facing elimination. They lose that game. But we saw remnants of the other night of that heartbreaker loss to the Denver Nuggets at home because they weren't even in the game yesterday against. They weren't even in the game in Game 5 against the Nuggets. So now maybe their nose against a wall, the knuckles scratching the ground. Maybe they'll be into this game. We got the Lakers versus the Timberwolves. That should be coming on any minute. They should be tipping off any moment right now. The Timberwolves, surprisingly to me, I did not have the Timberwolves dominating this series as they have. Now they're up 3-1. The Timberwolves are. They got the Lakers. They got the Lakers backs against the wall. Luka and LeBron James. But what we did see out of the Timberwolves is we saw Anthony Edwards playing like he's that guy, playing like he's in the MVP category, in the MVP conversation. He's putting pelts up on the wall. Somebody told me the other day he got Kevin Durant's pelt on the wall. Now, if he gets Luka Doncic and LeBron James pelt up on the wall, nobody else is going to be able to say that. And that would be truly special if he does that. And that's something that he's right. Nobody else is going to be able to say that. But we got to get that done first. Anthony Edwards, you're up 3-1. I mean, he clearly following up on the finals this season. He's dominating the playoffs. So he's taking what he learned from the NBA finals, what he learned from these guys in the Olympics, and he's bringing it to the court. I like that. The Timberwolves are showing that their size and their youth and their toughness can actually win the series. I did not count on this. I figured if they win, it would be 7. And if they win, we'd see LeBron looking like he's 40 years old. We see Luka, cussing out the refs, maybe getting tossed at a game or two. I wasn't sure what we've seen. But one thing I'm convinced about now, is that Lakers bench is not even serviceable. I was a Rui fan. When they signed him, I thought that was a big time. When they signed him and got him out of Washington, I thought that was an unheralded pickup because I thought he was a 3-and-D guy. I thought he was a better 3-and-D guy, a better 3-point shooter, a better defender. But he was a 3-and-D guy. I thought he was going to pay dividends. And so far, it hasn't happened. The Lakers bench, they got a lot of work to do. So we'll see if they can even survive tonight against the Timberwolves. The game should be on any moment now. We have the Rockets and the Warriors. It looks like last night, the Rockets pushed their Rockets forward game 6. Amen Thompson collects 5 steals in the first half to pull as the Warriors pulled their starters in the third quarter in a blowout, huh? It wasn't that bad, Steve Kerr. Come on now. You pull the starters in the third, Steve. Come on, man. It wasn't that bad of a blowout. I did see they were handling them. It was 131 to 116. They kind of cashed in that last game, I guess, thinking that we'll go home and get them in the next game. That's a funny game you're playing, Steve. Just to give up a game, because we see teams can come back. You guys have come back on teams with a double-digit lead. How are you going to give up if you have a double-digit lead? Now you're going to concede the victory to the other guys? That's pretty odd, Steve Kerr, I'm talking about. But, yeah, so the Rockets force a game 6, which will be in Golden State. We'll see how they survive there, but good win. Good win for the Rockets. Van Vliet stepped up. Şengün had 9 rebounds. Şengün had 9 assists. Amen Thompson had 5 steals. And Moses Moody led the Warriors in points. So Steph couldn't do anything. Steph was 4 for 12 at 13 points. There you go right there. Jimmy Butler, 2 for 10. He had 8 points. So between Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler, they had 21 points. I mean, if Draymond Green's points even worth counting, he had 7. That's crazy. Moses Moody and Kevin Knox had double figures. Yeah, Steve cashed in that game. Didn't see it, but apparently that's what happened. In that game, it looks like the veterans, the Warriors, were taking advantage of the youth. We'll see now if that happens in Game 6, like they're anticipating, going back to Golden State. The Cleveland Cavaliers. They put the smack down on the Miami Heat, beat them in 4 games. They closed out game by 55 points. I think that was like 3rd or 4th on the all-time closeout game record. Very impressive, though. What did it say about the Miami Heat? Should they be ushering Pat Riley out the door? Is it time to see the Eric Spoelstra regime take over in South Beach? A 55-point closeout loss. That's something that, man, we haven't seen that, have we? Well, I'll tell you the teams who's had a bigger disparity in their wins. The Lakers This had to be the Minnesota Lakers back in 1956 beat St. Louis. Largest margin of victory in a playoff game, NBA history, Lakers plus 58. The Denver Nuggets in 2009 plus 58. The Lakers plus 56 in 1973 versus Golden State. And then we had the Cavaliers. Beat them by 55 points against the Miami Heat. We had the 2015 Chicago Bulls beat the Milwaukee Bucks by 54 points. And the game I mentioned at the beginning to kick off the NBA playoffs was the OKC Thunder beating the Memphis Grizzlies by 51. That kicked off the playoffs. So there you have the highest scoring playoff games in NBA history, and we see those Cavaliers added their names to that list. Now the Pacers and the Bucks. Interesting thing went on in that game. The Bucks had a 7-point lead in what was that, game 5, I believe it was, and ended up losing that game. They were up 7 with 40 seconds to go. They should have won that game. They ended up losing that game. Here's the numbers, fans. In NBA history, since they've been keeping track of this, is in 1978, 1979, entering Tuesday's night game, teams were 0 in 1,609 games when trailing by 7 or plus points and 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter. That's an insurmountable lead that the Milwaukee Bucks gave up. Now we know it looks like Doc Rivers is all but gone out of Milwaukee. Unfortunately, Dame suffered the Achilles injury, so he's going to be rehabbing in Milwaukee the next 18 months. Does Giannis leave Milwaukee? Does Giannis request a trade from the Milwaukee Bucks? That's a question the Bucks have to be concerning themselves with. That's a question Bucks fans have to be asking themselves. Are they wasting Giannis's years, his best years? The next 3 or 4 years is going to be his best years. He's awesome right now, but he's only getting better. I think he's 28 years old, and he has a few years of just sheer dominance left. Are the Bucks wasting his best years? That's kind of weird to say, but does I mentioned this before? If you guys listened to the show, you heard my thoughts on this. I feel that because Giannis is not an American-born player, he doesn't have the desire, or he doesn't. And I don't know this personally, and I don't know Giannis. I haven't had a personal conversation with Giannis about this, but the feeling I get is that Giannis, being as humble a character as he is, he'd be willing to stay in Milwaukee for his career because it's better than Greece. He's doing pretty well. It's better than Greece. It may not be Miami. It may not be Southern California, Los Angeles, Malibu, Nobu, Redondo Beach, Newport Beach. It's not all that. But does Giannis desire all that? I'm not sure. I don't know. And I'm thinking as a foreign-born player, he's happy to be here in the U.S. He can take a plane. He'll get on a plane and go to L.A. if he wants to. He can get on a plane and go to Miami if he wants to be there. But he can have his home and his castle in Milwaukee. I think Giannis is good with that. I don't feel that Giannis is putting pressure on anybody to get him out of Milwaukee. How do you guys feel about that? And that's yet to be seen. So after the Pacers eliminate the Bucks from the playoffs, we had Tyrese Halliburton, his father. Tyrese Halliburton, oddly enough, was the one who voted the most unlikable player or most overrated player in the NBA by his peers. His father, Tyrese Halliburton's father, is now yelling, overrate this to Giannis Antetokounmpo after the game, and Giannis is sitting there stunned that they're lost, and he's absorbing his season being over, and you got this goofball coming over, shoving a towel in your face, and they end up going head to head. What if Giannis backhand that dude? Who'd be in trouble if Giannis backhand the dude while he's taunting him with the jersey in the face? If he backhand them or mushed them in the face and stiff arm them and kept going, what would the response be to Giannis Antetokounmpo today? Would it be that he mushed this guy in the face, or would it be that he can't keep his cool while this guy is taunting him? Would it be okay for the players, NBA players, dad to taunt the NBA player? Wild story. The Milwaukee Bucks, although Tyrese apologized post game at the press conference, I think the Milwaukee Bucks would fine $100,000 if I read that correctly. Let me see if I can find it. I think that's what happened. Let me see if I can find that. I can't find that. I can't find that. But I thought I saw somewhere where he got fined. I don't see it right now, but I thought he got fined. Apparently he didn't, but I think he should be probably suspended for taking action on the game. Are you guys watching the New York Knicks versus the Detroit Pistons? Similar to the Warriors and the Houston Rockets. The Detroit Pistons don't have any experience in this arena in the playoffs. The Knicks have some experience in this arena, so I expect the Knicks to win this series. It's been a little tougher than I anticipated. Cade Cunningham won Game 5 last night to push it to a different game, 6th game. But the Knicks has been the Pistons got their first win in the playoffs in 1999 when they won their first game over the Knicks. But the Knicks has been playing good basketball. The Pistons gave away a game or two. I think they gave away game 2 when they were leading, and the Knicks stole the game in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter, if I remember that correctly. Then the Knicks came out and won game 3 to give them a 2-1 lead, and then they squeaked by, or that's the game to give them the 2-1 lead. That Cat actually had a big game, and so he's had one of these big games in the series there. He won that game, and then the Knicks won another game, but the last game it went into overtime, but it found Hart and Brunson on the side of the bench while the Pistons kind of finished the game off. So we'll see if the Pistons could put some work in. We see Cade Cunningham growing right before our eyes, growing in stature, growing in experience, growing in knowledge of the game. So we see that happening right before our eyes. So good for him. Excuse me. What else we got? Can the Pistons win the series? I'm not sure they can win the series. I'm not sure the Pistons can win the series, but they can give us a couple more good games, right? They got a game 6 coming up. They can give us a game 6, but let's force it to a game 7. Make these New York Knicks fans sweat a little bit. The Boston Celtics, they beat the Orlando Magic 4-1. Orlando Magic got a game. If you guys haven't seen Paolo Banchero, he's a beast, and there's no other way to put it. They need a scorer. They need a shooting guard. They need a wing, a 3-and-D guy who can flat out shoot it. That's what they need, shooting. They have good defense. They play gritty, tough defense. Their coach got them playing gritty, tough defense, but they have trouble putting the ball in the basket. Paulo's the other one to do. In the regular season, it's cool. Nobody's really focused on you, Franz Wagner, but it's playoff times now. People are stepping up a little bit, Franz Wagner. Can you do it in the playoffs? Can they get a shooter? They need a shooter. Can they get a shooter Orlando in the offseason, in the draft. They need a shooter. If they get a shooter that'll change their whole life. They get a shooter, the Orlando Magic will be right back here in the playoffs with an advantage. They won one game against the Celtics and played a couple tough games, but they need a shooter that'll change their whole dynamic around. They were going after Klay Thompson last year. Klay Thompson, if he was able to shoot, he would have been pretty good for them. They need a flat-out knockdown shooter. The Orlando Magic does. Kudos and credit to Doug Christie. Doug Christie looks like he's going to be the next full-time head coach of the Sacramento Kings. Kudos to Doug Christie. He's been in the game for a long time, Mr. Viking some years ago. So kudos to him for moving up. What else you guys got in the NBA? We're seeing the kind of the playoff play out. That's what everybody wants to see. And what is it called last night? Cleveland and I talked about it last week. In the regular season, you gain your name. In the playoffs, you gain your fame. That's what we see Ant Edwards doing right now, gaining his fame. He already had the name. He's gaining the fame right now against these Los Angeles Lakers. What are we seeing Cade Cunningham do right now? He already had the name. Everybody was wondering what he's doing. Him and Jalen Green came on about the same level. He clearly separated himself from Jalen Green right now, who actually got benched in the fourth quarter of their playoff game. So playoffs, you gain your fame. Who's gaining their fame right now, fans? Hit me up in the chat. Or hit me up at _voice of the fans on Twitter. At _voice of the fans on Twitter. Who do you think is gaining their fame this postseason in the NBA? Hit me up in the chat if you're listening. Let me know where you're listening from in the chat. Where are you listening from? Are you in Chicago? Are you in the Midwest? Are you in the East Coast? What's the weather like? Is the humidity hitting you guys on the East Coast already? Let's have this dialogue. Let me know where you're tuning in from, how you're watching, how you're absorbing the show. And we thank you guys for tuning in once again. Fans, I'm here. Background noise, but I'm doing the show from Riverside Casino. Riverside Casino offers bonus free play Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Also, Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. This qualified players can receive up to $1,000 in free play. 2 winners every hour. This is at the Riverside Casino in Tukwila, Washington, right in Inner Bourbon. Now that we gave you that public service announcement, with it being April 30th, week 338 of the Voice of the Fans podcast, when you think of the number 30, who comes to your mind first? When you think of the number 30, is it Bernard King from the old days? Is it Terrell Davis, the running back from the Denver Broncos? Or is it Steph Curry, the sharpshooter from Golden State Warriors? Who comes to your mind first? When you think of the number 38, who comes to your mind first? George Rogers, the great running back from where? Ohio State, I believe. Who comes to your mind first? Running back from the Washington Redskins. When you think of the number 38, who comes to your mind first? Fans, we want to talk about let's do a little NFL recap. Get your thoughts on the NFL draft. I share my thoughts with you on the NFL draft. Biggest question I had going into the draft was when and where would Shedeur Sanders get drafted? And you see he dropped to the number 144, fifth round of the draft. You can't tell me, nobody can convince me that draft had anything to do with on-field performance. Clearly, there was some off the field stuff. Whether they NFL didn't really want to deal with Shedeur and his pops, which I think is hysterical. We have the Manning family, all but insured. The San Diego Chargers at the time were going to draft him, and Manning told him, no, don't draft him. He's not going to play there. He doesn't draft him. He ended up getting drafted by the New York Giants. There was no problem there. He think he went number 2. Deion Sanders says yes. Of course, he's gonna sway his use his authority, use his brand to help his son get drafted. And he goes in the 5th round. Was that a slap into Deion Sanders? Was that a slap at Shedeur Sanders? What I can say is, Johnny Manziel, the same year Dak Prescott was coming out, Dak Prescott gets drunk at a bar. Somebody had to call him home, and he dropped from a 1st-round prospect to the 4th round just because he got drunk. Johnny Manziel got drunk and ran away from the police, had a police chase, and he still goes number 1 in the NFL draft. So there's some inequities within NFL drafting players, if you guys didn't know it or not. I'm just pointing out a couple of them. When a guy like Cam Newton says in the draft party that I want to be a superstar, a billionaire and a superstar, and he still goes number 1, nobody shakes a stick at it. Everybody bristled at the fact that he's talking about who he wants to be when his career is done versus coming in here and be the best you can be at the beginning of your career. Nobody bristled at that. But Shedeur Sanders leads Jacksonville State to prominence. Not a lot of wins, but some prominence. You knew who he was. This game, ESPN travels to Jackson, Mississippi to televise one of his games. A couple years later, they traveled to Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, televise one of the Colorado games. We know what the mission has done in Colorado, how Deion Sanders has turned that around. And you're going to say this quarterback can't play? This quarterback who led – let's see if I have this article still up, fans. I'm writing an article on this, on the NFL draft. But got some key points of what Shedeur Sanders is able to do and how what makes his falling in draft so preposterous. So you're telling me Sanders, who led the nation in completion percentage at 74, led the nation in passing yardage at 4,134, led the nation in touchdowns at 37, led the nation in passing yards per game at 306, and quarterback rating at 168. I didn't say led his conference. I said led the nation. That's all of college football. That's all quarterbacks who were in the draft this year. Shedeur Sanders led the quarterbacks in those categories. So to say he can't play NFL football is preposterous. To say that him sliding in the draft was a matter of his talent, the talent level, is also preposterous. But what I can say, what this should be a message to a lot of individuals, mainly young black players, young black men, put your best foot forward all the time. You never know who's looking. So if Shedeur Sanders did go into one interview room with a bunch of confidence, a bunch of swagger, and that spread throughout from one leadership group to another leadership group, that's kind of Shedeur Sanders' fault. You got to put your best foot forward. You got to play that game. It's okay that you want to be who you are, but you still got to – there's a fine line between assimilating and keeping it real within the black community. If you don't think you need to assimilate, and you don't think there's no rules and order of decorum that you need to follow, you're mistaken. this is what happens. You get overlooked when there should be no reason to overlook you. When there's clearly very little reason to overlook you. But this is what happens when you act a certain way. You have to assimilate, folks. You can't wear the same clothes you wear to the club. You can't wear the same clothes to work. Most often you cannot. You have to change it up. Okay? You can't wear the same clothes at work that you wear at home, kicking it with your friends, your family, your homies. You have to change it up. You have to fit in. And if you don't do it, you have to do it if you want to play in that world. You don't have to assimilate at all. But you're not going to play in the world of the NFL if you don't have any assimilation. You don't have to assimilate at all, but you're not going to be among the – it's not often that you're going to be among the moneymakers in America unless there's some form of assimilation. And you can still keep it real. You have to understand how to play in that world. So, and Shedeur Sanders probably overplayed his draft, and some of these guys just want to get back at his father for being brash 30 years ago. We can't let your son act like you did. We can't have that. That was one of the things I was looking towards in the draft. Travis Hunter obviously wants to see where he goes. Amari Hampton versus Caleb Johnson. That's something I'm going to be looking at through the rest of the season. Caleb Johnson actually went to the Steelers, if I remember correctly. Amari Hampton went to the Chargers. So that'd be interesting to see how follow those two backs to see how they perform at the next level. Obviously, on Aston Genty going to the Raiders, I thought was a great pick. Kerry Kittle signing a 4-year, $76 million deal with the Niners. Obviously, a good pick. I know Brock Purdy's happy about that. He liked the way that happens. He liked the way that went down. So let's look at it. Let's look at a few things to see. I want to get your feelings on, see how you guys felt the draft went. How did you guys feel the draft went this past week? What did you guys think of obviously Cam Ward went number one. Good looking out Tennessee. What are they going to do this year? Does that elevate them into division conference championship level? Does he put him in that position? I don't know that I think so either. But we have Travis Hunter going to Jacksonville Jaguars. Abdul Carter, bro, you got a chance to make your name in one of the biggest cities in all of the world. And the first thing you're thinking about is calling Lawrence Taylor to wear his number 56. What, have you put on film with Lawrence Taylor? Do you know who that is? Dude, you got to get some pelts on your wall before you can call up Lawrence Taylor to say, let me wear your jersey. Come on, bro. What's going on here? Somebody needed to tell him otherwise. Somebody needed, his agent, his uncle, his brother, his dad should have told him, don't bother that man. And I like what Taylor said. No, you can't wear it. Go wear your own number. Make that famous. I don't know why more players don't have that philosophy in their head. No, you can't wear my jersey number. That's what we look like. Will Campbell, offensive tackle, going to the Patriots. Mason Graham going to the Cleveland Browns. Austin Genty, as I mentioned, going to the Raiders. Mimbu, I don't like that pick, going to the Chiefs. McMillan Tetrola from Arizona going to Carolina Panthers. Do they need a receiver? Was that one of the things that they were hurting for? I don't know, but okay, you got one guy, Bryce. Offensive tackle going, Kevin Banks going to New Orleans. Chicago Bears drafted the tight end. Caleb Williams, you got more weapons, more tools. Um, Edge rusher goes to the Niners. Uh, Dallas drives a guard. The Miami Dolphins get defensive tackle Kenneth Grant from Michigan. We'll see how that works out. Indianapolis Colts go tight end. I like that move for the Colts. Falcons go Walker out of Georgia. He stays home. That's good for him. Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, goes to Arizona. We'll see him make some moves. Cincinnati Bengals got an edge rusher to replace the guy that you're going to be losing here pretty soon. Gray Zabel goes to the Seattle Seahawks with the 18th pick. Emeka Ibuka goes to the Buccaneers with the 19th pick. The Denver Broncos take Jahar Barron, the cornerback out of Texas, with the 20th pick. So they're going to be formidable on that back end, boy, I tell you. The Pittsburgh Steelers, instead of drafting Shedeur Sanders, they went defensive tackle from Oregon, Derek Harmon. And the Chargers took Omari Hampton with their first pick. Matthew Golden, can he be a number one receiver for Green Bay? Green Bay has a bunch of number twos. Can Golden step up and be number one? That'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. Minnesota, they drafted a guard out of Ohio State, Donovan Jackson. Jackson Dart, second quarterback taken, went to the New York Giants. The Falcons took the edge rusher off the offensive. Connerly, the Northwest native, goes to the Commanders. That's good. And the Kansas City Chiefs get Josh Simmons, Ohio State offensive tackle. So they're going to be formidable again. So we got some really good picks. What do you guys think of who won in the draft? Who do we have some draft winners? And I told you guys who I thought won in this draft. I'll recap. I'll do this. I'll recap this draft for you. When I look at trying to look at the Miami. They didn't make a lot of moves. In fact, they just drafted best available. They didn't make a bunch of moves. But what we did do, what they did do is that they added a cornerback. They added some linemen, offensive linemen, defensive linemen that they really needed to make them guys formidable. Because that's we were getting ran on, embarrassingly. So we needed to do something to help our team out and help out our offensive line. We needed somebody to block for our fragile quarterback, and we needed somebody to run the ball. So Seahawks had actually a good draft getting their safety. They got an offensive lineman. They actually got I say they got a good draft, but everything other than Milroe. I didn't like Milroe for the Seahawks. Seattle, the Miami Dolphins in round 2 with the 5th pick in round 2, they dropped the guard from Arizona. In that same round, a couple picks earlier, the Seattle Seahawks, they drafted Emmanuel the safety out of South Carolina. So you get a fast guy, a big guy, a strong guy for their pickup. Another good pickup here. I'm looking for picks in round 2. Picks that I'm actually excited about in the second round. And I think the safety for Seattle would be pretty good. It'd be Seattle. Seattle uses Elijah Arroyo. How they're going to? He is a big play waiting to happen for the Miami Dolphins or for the Miami Hurricanes. But we'll see how the Seattle Seahawks choose to use him. Will Johnson going to the Arizona Cardinals. That seems like a pretty good fit. So those are a couple of things that I'll be looking at personally. We want to see how Tyler Sharp develops, the quarterback out of Louisville, how he developed for the Saints. That's going to be pretty interesting to see how that thing develops. Just looking down the line, how are a lot of these draft picks going to play out? That'll be interesting to see. Who am I looking for? Caleb Johnson in the 3rd round. He goes the running back of Iowa goes to the Steelers. I think that's an awesome pickup, a great pickup, and he's a very good replacement to the dude he signed with. He's the former running back for the Steelers who signed with the Chargers. He's a great running back. I think he'll have a better season. In the 3rd round, also the Seahawks took Jalen Milroe. I don't know what and Dylan Gabriel goes on to gets drafted a couple picks later. The Cleveland Browns took Dylan Gabriel, and the Seattle Seahawks took Jalen Milroe. There's no way, fans. I think drafting Jalen Milroe ahead of Shedeur Sanders is a fireable offense. I tweeted that when it happens. I think that's a fireable offense. So that really makes me question what the Seahawks brass is doing when you take Jalen Milroe over Shedeur Sanders, who's clearly a better quarterback. Jalen Milroe threw 16 touchdowns last year for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and he has a very good offensive line. He has very good wide receivers. He threw 16 touchdowns, fans, and 11 interceptions. People are enamored with the quarterback running a 4.3. Well, let me be the first to tell you that's not Michael Vick, okay? Let me be the first to tell you that's not Lamar Jackson. So, Jalen Milroe, you're gonna use Sam Darnold to coach him up? Come on, man. I don't like that pick. I don't know what this. I don't like that pick at all. These are picks in the 3rd round. Some picks in the 3rd round that caught my eye. I told you the running back going to the Steelers, I think in the 3rd round was a great pickup, great value at that pickup. Scatterbo going to the Giants. I personally, a lot of people talk about Scatterbo running 4.5, 4.6. I'm not sure what you're going to do in the NFL. I'll be watching though, but I'm not sure what Scatterbo is going to do in the NFL. What do you guys think about Scatterbo? The Carolina is picking Trevor Etienne. They needed a back. I think they won in this. They did some good things in this draft. They got some positions of need. So good for them. David Walker going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from Central Arkansas. I think that's the impressive pickup. There's been some late pickups here in the late rounds of the draft that really seem to pan out, and that's what we're doing here is just trying to identify Jordan Watkins, the Mississippi wide receiver going to the 49ers. I think that's a good pickup. Who are these pickups going to be and how are they going to cash in for their squad? We'll see. We'll see how things transform, how things transpire. The Dolphins getting Jordan Phillips from Maryland. That was a good pickup. They needed somebody on the defensive line. We'll see if he steps up. He probably needs to put some weight on, but we're going to see how that picks up. Jordan Blue, he stays at home in Texas. By going to the Dallas Cowboys, he gets drafted there. We're going to see how that thing plays out. So, again, just looking at the draft, these are some of the draft picks that kind of caught my eye. Oronde Gadsden went to the Los Angeles Chargers as tight end. They've been waiting for a tight end. And Oronde Gadsden, he may not be the fastest guy, but he has a great catch radius. So he's going to be catching balls from Justin Herbert. So he's going to be in a good situation. So we're going to see how things pan out for the draft. What do you guys think about the Steelers-Rodgers partnership? Is this going to be high? Is Rodgers going to be better than he was for the Jets? That's the question I have for the world. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be better than he was for the Jets? I don't know. Who's your target? Nick Chubb. Have you guys seen the video of Nick Chubb working out? How he's jumping over the 3 foot high the high jump, the bar for the high jump. He's hopping over those things. Nick Chubb has always been a workout warrior. I need to see him on the field, though. He's not signed to the Browns. Who's going to sign him? Miami. You need a bell cow back? You need a back to complement A-Chain? You better go get Nick Chubb for those tough yards. And then he has the ability to break one or two. Fans, what do you guys think, man? I'm hearing a lot of conversation about Bill Belichick's love life. What do you guys think about this? Is this off limits? I mean, it's a grown man's love life. Why do we care about this in the world of sports? Some of the arguments that he's on college campus. He's supposed to be what is it called? A mentor, role model for some of these college kids. Now, unfortunately, I didn't go to college right after high school. But I know as a man what I was thinking right after high school. I need to be on the college campus to know what I was trying to get into. And I think some of them same men try to get into the same thing. And Bill got him a young hot one on the side. Why ain't these boys trying to get a young hot one on the side either, too? But Bill's also actually trying to teach them to get into the NFL. So I think this is just kind of fodder. I think this is making the entertainment tonight because we're kind of not used to seeing Bill around a girl and how the hell they act around each other. But do you guys think she has too much control over what's going on? She's canceling his meetings. You know, she's the one doing it when he used to micromanage every facet of his life. Now you got some young girl in here, 30% of his age, kind of doing it. Is this newsworthy? Do you guys think? Should him, Bill Belichick, being 70 plus, marrying a girl who's 24 years old, should that matter on the college campus? I don't know. I think it's a man and his dating preference. I think it's got too much information, in my opinion. That's my opinion, though. I could be wrong. I'm looking for you fans to correct me. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me what you think. Fans, once again, the noise you hear in the background is from, I'm at the Riverside Casino. The Riverside Casino in Tukwila, Washington, has one of the better happy hours here. Drinks, draft beer, $2.75, fans. $2.75, fans, for a draft beer here in Seattle, Washington. Believe it or not, I've turned over a lot of stones in this state, especially here recently, and I haven't found $2.75 draft beer. So happy hour, get your butt down here if you want a happy hour. They also it's a casino, so they have free bonus play Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Sunday through Thursday. Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Qualified players can receive up to $1,000 in free play. 2 winners every hour. Get your butt down here if you're a gambler. You want to make a little coin. They have the bonus play, and you can do $2.75 happy hour. here at the Riverside Casino on Interbourbon. 14040 Interbourbon Avenue South, Tukwila, Washington, 98168. Right next door to the Great American Casino. Make sure you find your way down here. They got some good specials for you guys to have. And the sponsor for This Week in History segment. On 4/29/1854, fans, the American Institute officially chartered. The American Institute officially chartered, becoming the first college for African American students. May 2nd, 1920, the first game of the National Negro Baseball League is played in Indianapolis. 4/30/1983, Robert C. Maynard is the first African American with the controlling interest in a major metropolitan newspaper after purchasing the Oakland Tribune. April 29, 1989, the LA riots began after an acquittal for 4 white officers in the videotape beating of Rodney King. Over 50 people died. April 30th, 1992, The Cosby Show, featuring Bill Cosby, aired its final original episode after an 8-season run. The Cosby Show. I still think The Cosby Show is one of the greatest shows in America that run on TV. Obviously, it's reruns. I still think it's one of the greatest shows run. And question for you guys off the chat: if you guys want to hit me up in the chat and talk about this, fine. If you guys want to hit me up on Twitter at underscore voice of the fans, at underscore voice of the fans on Twitter. Can you separate the art from the artist? Or can you separate the act from the artist? That should be the questions. With R. Kelly, can you separate the act from the artist? You know, any of you guys still listen to I Believe I Can Fly? Anybody still listen to Step in the Name of Love? Anybody still listening to 12 Play? Can you separate the music from the art in the R. Kelly situation? Can you separate the TV show from Bill Cosby situation? Now we know. Can you separate that music or that art from the artist? This is just a curious question. April 23rd, 1939, Ted Williams hits his first major league home run while playing for the Boston Red Sox. April 29, 1986, NFL draft. Auburn running back Bo Jackson is drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he went right back to college. He chose to play in college and play in Tampa Bay. May 1, 1926, Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher Satchel Paige debuts in the Negro Southern League for Chattanooga. May 1, 1999, A's outfielder Ricky Henderson steals all-time Major League record 939 stolen bases in a 7-4 win over the New York Yankees in Oakland. May 1, 2000, Barry Bonds is the first Major League player to hit a home run into San Francisco Bay as the Giants beat the Mets 10-3. Hits 35 in there during his 25 during his San Francisco career. The first player to hit the home run into the Bay? Why do they call it McCovey Cove? I thought they call it McCovey Cove because he hit the home run in there into the McCovey Cove. That's what I thought they called it for. Interesting. April 29, 1987, Andre Dawson hits for the cycle. I know it's been done since then. I just thought that was an interesting thing to pull out there. Thank you guys tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. As always, fans, we appreciate your time. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, fans. That's all it costs you. That's all. I do this in weekly podcast for your likes. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If you made it this far, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Please leave a comment. Let me know. Give me a comments, complaints. Feedback is like a gift. If you're not giving feedback, you're not giving any gifts out. Give me some feedback on the podcast. Let me know if you're appreciating the show, if you're not appreciating the show. That would mean a lot to me. Fans, we got Cinco de Mayo quickly approaching. On Cinco de Mayo, Canelo Alvarez is fighting in Saudi Arabia, Billy Skull. The Japanese boxer Inoue is going to also be fighting that weekend. We have the Fatal Fury takes place on May 2nd in Times Square. That's going to be Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero, Devin Haney, Jose Ramirez, Teofimo Lopez, Arnold Barboza. So we get a nice coming up. We get a nice weekend of boxing. That's this weekend, fans. That's this weekend. That's in a couple days. We get these fights on Friday, May 3rd, or May 2nd, excuse me. Saturday, May 3rd, and then we get Inoue, I think, is fighting late Saturday night. Make sure you check your local listings for the Inoue fight. Japanese pounder I think he's at 126. If you haven't seen the fight yet, you want to see him just unload on some people. Let's do this, fans. Let's do this. Yeah, let's take a break, fans, and I'm going to play this for you guys.
Am I speking to right now?
Cameron.
My name's Cameron.
Cam Buford. Hey, it's Peter Rosenberg. I'm hanging on my man Cameron Buford.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
All we want to see every year are the best two mothers getting in the ring and getting on.
I got some of this for you.
Goodness. For me?
Yeah, just for you.
Think about it like this: the promoter pays the fighter, the fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter, and the fighter works for the promoter.
Okay. So you are lifting weights currently?
When he said it's easier to score in the NBA versus Europe, did you agree with them?
To me, it's easy to score all over the world.
Can I finish? Do you want me to speak or do you want to conduct the interview and answer for me? Which one?
What do you think about this upcoming?
Okay. Like I was saying before.
Aaron, what has the game of baseball taught you?
One of the biggest things is being humble.
Can you give a message to the kids to kind of persevere through the false teachings they may be giving?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
As the show Voice of the
Oh
Fan
my goodness!
continues to
I'm in
evolve,
tears.
Come on, you were adding some spice to it.
it is strictly banter back and forth between myself and Cameron Buford.
I enjoy all of it.
The real ones know what's going on, right?
Never mind.
Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape, and then you tell me if it was all about just a system.
You look like a buffoon.
Go do your research. Go do your study.
I'm not caught up to you guys yet. I do know that.
surprised at that, Ken.
Hey, come here. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, this guy.
That's what's good in sports, man. It's Big Snoop Dogg, man.
That's what's good in sport.
Thank you for making our voice your choice.
If you haven't told your girlfriend about the show, tell her about the show. If you haven't told your boyfriend about the show, tell him about the show. If you haven't told your cousin, your uncle, your grandfather about the show, let everybody know about the Voice of the Fans podcast.
Hey, man, thanks for making our voice your choice. You know how we do.
Yeah, fans, we in the house. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please let everybody know about the Voice of the Fans podcast. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. That's all I ask from you guys. It doesn't cost you anything to smile. It doesn't cost you anything to hit that subscribe button. It costs you even less to hit that like button. Hit that like button for me. Show me some love. It really helps out in the algorithm. But show me some love. Let me know that you're at least watching the show and enjoying the show. Okay, let me know that you're enjoying the show. We'd appreciate that too. We'd appreciate that very much. Nemo ties a record for the Mets. 9 home runs to help the Mets become the first team to win 20 games this season. Fans, the NFL came down hard on the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich after his son prank called Shedeur Sanders during the 2025 NFL draft. The league has fined the Falcons $250,000 plus Ulbrich $100,000 for the incident, according to the NFL Network. Boy, can you guys think of some time that you cost your parents $100,000 I want to know, did you go to school that next day? Did you, after you cost your parents $100,000, your dad $100,000, did you go to school the next day? That's what I want to know. Were you allowed to go? Were you allowed to go to school? Did you go to college? And what was that conversation like? I know I probably wouldn't have went to school for a week had I did some stupid shit like that. That is there was something when we were fearful of what our parents might do. Whether it was punishment, whether it was restriction, whether it was a smack in the back of the head, whether it was a thump in the back of the head, whether it was a full out spanking. We were worried and scared about what our parents would do. For this dude to go on his pop's computer, steal Shedeur Sanders' name, give it to a friend, and record it, dude probably ain't never been yelled at in his life. That's what he probably needs. Stephen A. said it best. He need his ass whooped. But the dude's 21. If you ain't beat his ass by now, that ass whooping ain't gonna help him. He gonna call 911. That's the kind of kid that call 911. You talking about parental abuse? Well, you probably need your ass whooped a few times before, and you never got it, and you would do some stupid shit like that, and now you deserve ass whooping, and you just cost your pops $100,000. I mean, where's the legal avenue where the police should, I guess, prank calling or crank calling somebody is not a crime, but it just makes you look bad, Uber and family. Like, for somebody to do that, again, there's no fear from what the parents would do. Can somebody, one of you guys listening in to the show, let me know what your parent, if you guys went to school the next day after you would have did that, after you cost your parents $100,000, did you go to school the next day? I want to know. That's inquirer minds want to know. So it looks like the Timberwolves are up 10 on the Lakers. A couple minutes to go in the second quarter. But did somebody go to school? That's what I want to know. Did you go to school after you costing your dad $100,000? Fans, I do this again. I do this for you guys. I do this we all love sports. We all love sports. I love sports. So I love talking sports. But I like bringing you guys straight content about what's going on in the sports world, so you guys can get an idea of what my thoughts are. So share your thoughts with me. What are your thoughts on what's going on in the sports world? You like the way things are transpiring? The things that I want to leave you guys with tonight is every night I want to do the This Week in History segment with you guys, let you guys know what's happened in the past. And I'd like to leave you guys with the quote. The quote I want to leave you guys with tonight is, fall 7 times, stand up 8. It's actually a Japanese proverb, but what that means is don't relent. You bump your head, shake it off, and keep going. Don't give up. You fall 7 times, you got to stand up 8 times. Because we want you standing at the end of the day. Want you guys to be the best that you guys can at the end of the day. Be the very best you guys can. I want all you guys to be successful at what you do. So that's why I try to give you guys some inspirational quotes, some inspirational thoughts, some inspirational, the word I'm looking for, some encouragement. That you guys get out there and do what you want to do and achieve the goals that you guys have and the goals that you guys have set for yourself. That's all my intentions are. So I thank you guys for tuning in to the Voice of the Fans podcast. As the video states, if you tell a friend about the podcast, if you haven't told your sister, your uncle, your cousin, your brother about it, let them know about the Voice of the Fans podcast. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. How are you tuning into the Voice of the Fans podcast? And the last thing I want to say, and I want to thank you guys. Thank you guys dearly for making our voice your choice. Take care. Have a good night.